Tales of a Drow Part 7. A Light Shines. Part 1. Told by Loltha. A good ways away and different time than Tila, a catfolk young lady can be seen. Her cheetah markings plain and her nearly nude body, to most other races, sprinting in the woods she was fast and nimble. A predator but more. She was alive. Born in the wilds of the high forest of Faerun, she was a very happy thing. She ran about doing all the normal things. Hunting, fishing and whatever else, her family loved her, and she was happy. The fruits that grew were wonderful. In fact, all the foods they loved were right and full of life. The meats wonderful and game plentiful. Then they came. Then the war came from all sides and her people caught in the middle. The dark-skinned and the light-skinned long-ears fight had came to their home in the woods. The forest lit ablaze by magic fires fueled by hate and anger, and she watched as homes, her friends and family were killed, in a war that had nothing to do with them. Her mother, who she had been fleeing with, had been hit with an arrow penetrating a lung. "I can't go any farther, sweetheart, I just can't make it." Her mother coughed up some blood. "You have to run. Go, leave me." Loltha shakes her head. "No, Mom, we can make it still. We can get you help in another tribe somewhere." Her mother cuts her off. "No, dear. I will not be with you. You run, get away. Do not look back, flee this place, but remember we love." Her words were cut short as another arrow found its mark. Loltha stood for a moment, her mind a world of confusion, till another arrow hit close by. With that she was off, to do as her mother said. Survive. She wandered without a home, or a people for what seemed to her forever. Alone she ate what she could. The other forest were not so kind to her, they did not know her name, and so they hid their food, making it hard for the cat lady. In desperation she went to the caves and searched. This would be where the darkness came. It had hold of her, its grip like a vice. The catfolk's world was dark for a long time, after that, and when she was brought out of her darkness she was put in a cage, she was in their domain, these dark-skinned creatures. Not that it mattered now, she did not know where she was or even if it was day or night. There was just that crystal, which had a dark glow to it, and it would stop glowing for a long time, and then come back on, only to repeat this again and again. The creatures came by and laughed, making fun of her, calling her weak and useless. What was worse, she believed this, for after all her family died, because she ran. So here she curled up and cried in her little hell. In the darkness of loneliness and despair. The time passed for her. She had lost all hope and was consigned to die here. Not knowing today would be her change in fate. A massive creature darker than the darkest night and deepest depths came. At first she had fear for the Dark One, other creatures gave him a wide berth, and he came closer to her cage. He almost walked past, but stopped a few steps after, and her heart suddenly sank as he turned. His covered face, with only his eyes showing, locked on her. Its eyes were like a wild animal, they froze her in place. Time stopped as he walked over, and the two men were suddenly still, a look of pure stupidity on their faces. The massive creature called another over, the one that was always here, and even fed her from time to time, and gave her water. A large bag was handed over, and the massive creature roughly grabbed her cage, covering it. The darkness again came, and she knew this would be the end. After a horrid ride she heard sounds and movement, and then the cover was removed. The light was not much, but she could see better than she had since she had come here all that time ago. The creature nodded and opened the cage. Here was her chance, she would attack even though she knew he would kill her, she could no longer take this. When his hands wrapped around her and took her out, she swung at him again and again. She let all her power she had been saving for so long on him, and raged all her hate and anger and fear, she let loose on this creature, and found she was no longer afraid anymore. This was when she noticed he had not let go. He, however, had not crushed her, hit her or anything. She stopped and looked at the creature, who now had the covering of his face gone, and saw something. He had a tear. He had let her release all her hate on him, all her fear, and done nothing save shed a tear. He then showed her some food and water, fruits. She thought, fruits and vegetables, mushrooms, and by all that is, meat. Wonderful meat. It had been so long since she had real food she did not even think as she ate and ate. He just sat and watched quietly. The man went over to his door and held it open and spoke. I give you a choice, little one. You can leave and go home, I will not stop you, and you could very well make it to the surface. Or stay with me and I will give you a home. You will never want again, you will never have to fear God, nor man again, and I will show you wonders and places you could never see. Will you be my familiar? I need your help. The cat lady looked out into the tunnels for a long time, and finally she looked back at the creature, and moved over to where he stood. No, she thought. I have a home now, and for some reason, she knew she would not lose a home as long as she stayed with him. He needed her, someone needed her, and that was the best thing. She had been with what she knew now as a drow, for a month and had got her strength back. What was once a skinny cat female was now a far more energetic and curious creature. And Loltha did not like being in the room all the time. You said we were going to the surface, Master Darkweaver. I've been down here forever. I want to see the moon, or the stars, don't care really. She huffed. The drow man turned in his chair to see her, of course sprawled out on his bed, even though she had a fine well-made bed of her own. In fact, it was better than his even. He sighed. 7 days we leave. I told you that 4 hours ago? He seemed to ask. Yeah. She sighed as well. I just am so ready to get back to the real world. He looked at her. The real world? He asked. And so what is so not real here? She rolled over onto her back. Not what I mean. She giggled. Don't take it so personal. The drow laughs a little, something he rarely did, but had become more common. I know you have been ready for a while. Do you remember what I told you? He asked. She quickly answered. Waterdeep is a dangerous place. Trust no one, do not wander off, keep my ears open and eyes peeled at all times, and keep quiet, stay unnoticed, be a shadow. She recited his words perfectly, she thought. He nods. Good, I know this seems like a lot, our destination after that will be the plains. He turns and points. Way south of here. I even hear there is a few catfolk tribes there. That will be a while though. Till we can get there. Yes? She asked. Yeah, a bit still. He turned around and started writing again, that was until she jumped in his lap. I take it you're hungry? He asked her. She nods. I want fish. She said flatly. He pushed her off somewhat rudely, she however landed on her feet. Walking over, he got what was plainly a salted fish, and let it cook in a small pan of butter. To give the dried fish some softness back, and, to be honest, butter was good. Loltha watched happy and ready. Not long after, he sat the dish down on the table, where she wasted no time in eating it. Okay, you have all the things you want to take. I have my supplies and it will be just us, so no one else to worry with. He turned to face the cat lady to find she had finished her fish already, and laid back down, in his bed. He let out a laugh. Well, she deserves it after what she has been through. With that he sat back down in his chair and closed his eyes. The dark came, and with it, the memories, the horrid memories. End Tales of a Drow Part 7. A Light Shines. Part 1. I hoped you enjoyed this episode and liked the character, Loltha. We will start up with Tila again after Loltha's story. I hope everyone has a good day, and we'll see you again.